Hi, everyone. I think this is working. Good day. Welcome to 12 at 12. Today we have Alisa Gaylon, full-time faculty of Culinary and Hotel Restaurant Management, and she's going to teach us how to move it. We have a live group stretch and warm up. And so I'm going to pass it over to her now so you can see her. Could somebody clarify in chat that you're seeing the screen now? One of you on there. There's no handout for today's session. Somebody just write in the chat, yes, we can see Alisa fine here.
I'm hoping.
I can see you. And to make her bigger too on the screen, if you go underneath her the picture of her, there's a little like lines. If you pull that down and push it, she'll become full screen for you. So no one's said that you can see what you're. Could someone please, Terry Powell, could you please write in there write in the chat or raise your hand so I can see what's going on there? Okay, Melissa, thank you. I see Melissa. Wonderful. That's awesome. Okay, go ahead, Alisa. It's yours.
Okay, so we're good to go. Welcome to my guest room, everybody. Hopefully there will not be any dogs that like stroll through the middle of this. I wanted to do today's presentation for a couple of reasons. One, just to give you a little bit of background. I do teach in the Culinary and Hotel Restaurant Management department, but my little side gig is that I teach group fitness classes. So I do teach a whole bunch of things. I teach some bar classes, I teach yoga sculpt, I teach yoga, I teach some aerial yoga, and some ballet classes. So a whole lot of different muscle groups that I target in those classes. And the other reason I wanted to share a little bit of that side of my life with the rest of my colleagues here, but I also wanted to talk briefly about the fact that as online professors and instructors, we sit to do our jobs. I mean, we sit and we're over a computer for a significant portion of the day, and I doubt that many of us have a stand-up desk. If you do, awesome. If you don't have a stand-up desk, one thing I do want to suggest to you is that you replace your chair with an exercise ball. It forces you to sort of use your core to balance your body, and it's a little more gentle on your hips because your legs are not locked into this like 90-degree angle like when you sit in a chair. Sitting in a chair and sitting down or sitting on the couch and like leaning over the coffee table on the computer, sitting all day is just not good for our bodies. So I wanted to do this little session. I'm hoping that the rest of you that are on this call, and I see we have a good number of people, are actually gonna like stand up and do this with me and not just sit there at home and watch me exercise in my guest room, because that might be a little bit weird. Okay, so I wanted to get started with a nice warm up. I'm gonna tip the screen a little bit so you can actually see the floor where I'm gonna be doing some stuff and some stretching and some warm ups. You might not see my head the whole time, mostly because my guest room isn't designed as a professional fitness studio with cameras at like all the perfect angles. So I'm doing the best I can for you. But let's get started. So I want everybody to start just standing up. I want your feet about hip distance apart. Think about centering your hips over your ankles and your shoulders over your hips. Like give yourself some nice good posture, turn to the side. You can see kind of that's what that looks like. So no slouching, no slumping, right? Everything is sort of lined up nice and evenly. And take a big inhale up, look up, and then exhale, fold forward. And I want you to lead with your heart and then hinge forward as much as possible. And this is where I'm going to actually start to tip the screen now so you can see me hinging forward. If your fingertips can reach the ground, that's awesome. If they can't, just reach towards the ground. The key part here is I want you to think about having a nice straight and flat back with your body. So from here, you're going to raise your hands up to your shins and really press them into your shins so that you can sort of be pressing your body away with your hands. So you've got your knees locked out, your legs are straight, and you're sort of pressing your hands into your shins. Think about pushing your tailbone away from your body. I tilted that the wrong way. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so from here, I want you to have a little bit of a bend in your knees. Now reach your hands down towards the ground. You bend your knees as much as you need to be able to fully touch your hands onto the ground in front of you. And then I want you to think about making a real deep bend into your right leg. Push your right hand down all the way, and then take your left hand up towards the ceiling of your room and try to follow it with your gaze. So you get a really nice stretch to the side here. And then bring that left hand down. Just bend your left knee as much as you need to be able to press that left hand down, and take your right hand all the way up and take a twist and follow it with your gaze. And then bring that hand down. Come back up halfway. Again, I want you to press away so you think about one long line from the top of your head all the way through your tailbone. Little bend in your knees, and bring yourself all the way back up. From here, come on down. I put a mat down because I'm on a rug and I don't want the rug to slide around. You can use a towel, or if you have a rug that's not going to slide, that's fine too. Right? Bring up your left leg. I want you to think about bending that left knee at just 90 degrees. So you don't want your knee to track over your toe. You want your knee to stay over your ankle instead. Pressing your hands into your thigh. Just tip your body forward a little bit. And then bring your torso back up. Do that a couple times. If you want an extra stretch, reach your hands overhead and then reach them forward. So keep your neck looking down at the floor in front of your rug, your mat, or your towel. And come back up, and then resting your hands on your thigh again, tuck your back toe so you can kind of press yourself up into this lunge and give a tiny, tiny little bit of bounce. Right? Think about really pressing your hip down towards your mat. And you're going to come all the way up and rotate your body and press your hands onto either thigh. You can sink as low as is comfortable for your body. So if this is where you are, that's awesome. If you do exercise regularly and you can sink your hips really low, that's great. And then I'm going to rotate my body to the other side so that I've got this knee at a 90-degree angle. And I can rest my hands on my thigh, push my body forward and back up. Maybe I want to take that nice big stretch forward and come back up. And I'm going to tuck that back toe and give a little tiny bit of a bounce if that feels comfortable. Stretch out those hips a little bit so that when we do wind up seated in front of the computer, they don't get quite as tight. And I'm going to rotate back around this way and do one other stretch where I press my hands into my thighs. And I'm going to twist first to one side, and then I'm going to twist to the other side. And then I'm going to come back up. And of course, this is where I kind of need to readjust that camera a little bit. Okay, so a little bit of a dynamic warm-up. I know you can't see my head, but that's okay. You can see my feet. So you can see that all I'm doing is really picking up my heels. I'm not running, I'm not jogging, and I'm not even fully picking my feet up off of my mat. I'm just picking up my heels, starting to get warm, starting to bring that heart rate up a little tiny bit. So we're going to take this movement and turn this into some high knees. Now, I'm one of those people that when I do high knees, I need to put my hands here and challenge myself to bring my knees up that high because I am naturally a little tiny bit lazy. I know it doesn't seem like it. Right? So you can do this as fast or as slow as you want. If you really want some extra cardio, you start going faster. Try to really slap your knees into your hands. You can also just walk this out because the whole motion of picking up that leg is what's starting to get the cardio going. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to turn this into butt kicks. Again, you can walk this out and do it nice and slow. Or if you want some extra cardio, you can kind of run a little bit. So I would recommend that you do that for 30 seconds. And then start to do some soccer kicks. So if you do each of these things for 30 seconds, I'm going to give you the fourth one in a minute. You've got a really good 2-minute cardio warm-up. For time, I'm not going to do that. And then the last one, we're going to do those same butt kicks that try to kick the opposite cheek with your feet. So nice wide stance. And you kind of go from side to side. I'll turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. And again, you can go as fast or as slow as you want on that. Okay, so you get a really nice good warm-up going. Then come back down to your mat. turn around onto your back, and lay down with your feet, with your knees bent rather. Scoot your backside as close to your heels as possible. From here then, get your shoulder blades up off of the ground, reach your hands, try to tap opposite heels. Go back and forth. Do that one for a little bit. Lay back down. Take a little bit of a break in between. Scoot your feet a little bit further away from your body now. Roll your shoulders down your back. Press your hands into the mat. And I want you to squeeze your glutes. Lift your hips up high. Inhale, release. You're going to just hover. So I can fit my whole hand here. Exhale, squeeze and lift them back up. Inhale, release and lower. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Inhale, release and lower. So you can do this for about 30 seconds. Then hold at the top. Do a few little tiny pulses. You notice this whole time I've got my chin off my chest. Like imagine the shape of a grapefruit up there. You can then hold this, pick one leg up, and press up and down with one leg up in the air. Bring that back down. Press up and down. The other leg up in the air. Bring that back down. Relax. And then carefully, you can roll yourself over onto your side. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is proper position for a plank, which really uses your core a lot, your thighs, your glutes, and your arms. So it's a great exercise. If you're going to be on your wrists, you really want to make sure that you've got your shoulders over your wrists, no matter what, and your arms are at about shoulder distance apart. They're not nice and wide unless you're trying to do a wide plank. The other option, if you want to be on your forearms, you come down and you want to make sure your shoulders are over your elbows. Your hands can either be in the shape of a number 11, or you can bring your fingertips together. For your legs, you can be on your knees. Just make sure your knees are not under your hips, but away from your hips. Or you can tuck yourself up and be on your toes this way. So I would recommend that you do 10 seconds like this. What you really want to think about doing is pressing your body away from the ground. Imagine that you're wrapping your shoulders around an imaginary beach ball. You squeeze your glutes, you squeeze your thighs, and you think about pulling your belly button back towards your spine. You go there for 10 seconds, and then come over onto your side plank. Again, same option. You can be on your elbow with your shoulder over your elbow, or up on your wrist with your shoulder over your wrist. Your bottom knee can be on your mat, or you can be up on the edges of your foot. And you do this for 10 seconds. Then go back to this one for 10. Then go to your other side for 10. Come back here for 10. Drop your knees. Take a big inhale. Take a big exhale, round your spine. Really give your abs a nice stretch. So exhale with your chin to your chest round. Inhale, look up. And I know that we only have 12 minutes. I already went over. Thank you for joining me for our live group stretch. Take every one of the things I mentioned, do each one of them for between 30 seconds to a minute. You've got a great workout there that you can get done in a half an hour. Have a great day.
Thank you, Alisa. That was amazing. And just a reminder to everyone, we can't memorize it for just one time. So go to the Faculty Training Center and see the recording there. Thanks, Alisa. That was awesome.
Have a great day.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.